Okay, here's a question. The first person who ever made a clock, how did they know it was telling the right time? Like, normally, if you want to check whether a clock is right, you just look at another clock. Yeah? But this was the first one. There were no other clocks anywhere. So, what did they check it against? The thing is, they didn't need another clock, they had the sun. You know how the sun comes up, gets higher and higher, and at some point it's right up at the top of the sky before it starts going back down? That top point, the highest the sun gets, people just decided that's 12 o'clock, noon. And honestly, that's the whole trick. Once you've got that one fixed moment, everything else is just counting from it. 3 hours after the sun's at the top, it's 3 o'clock. You don't need a clock to tell you when noon is, you just look up. So that's what the first clockmakers did. They'd wait for the moment the sun was highest, the shadows shortest, and go, right, that's 12, and set their clock from there. Sorted. Except it's not quite sorted. The sun isn't at the top of the sky at the same time for everyone. The earth's round and it's turning. So the sun hits the top over your town a few minutes before it does over the town next to you, which means every town basically had its own noon, its own time. The clock in your town and the clock an hour down the road would just disagree, and neither one was wrong. For most of history, there was no single time that everyone shared. Your town had its time, the next town had theirs, and nobody cared. So, when did that stop? When did it become the exact same time everywhere? When trains showed up. Suddenly, people were shooting across the country, passing through 20 towns in a day, each one on its own time. Imagine trying to print a train timetable when every station's clock says something different. It was a complete mess. Nobody could agree on when a train was actually supposed to arrive. So they did something nobody had ever done. Everybody in a whole region just gave up their own noon and agreed to share one clock for everyone. That's what standard time is. And the part that surprised me is how recent it is. It's only about 140 years old. That's nothing. So the time on your phone right now, it's kind of two things stuck together. Half of it is ancient, the highest sun, the same thing people have used forever. And half of it is really new, all of us deciding to share one single clock.
Just look up, the sky was the clock all along.